controversies, questions and answers, tensions rising, and more arguments. One man, one woman, one show. X-Ray. Airing live on Human Rights Radio 101.1 Abuja.
Hello and welcome to X-Ray. It's another beautiful day, and today being Wednesday, it is a great opportunity being with you on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. So many stories unveiling themselves, events are occurring, and this is our job to bring to you and to your table the very latest developments and the topical issues indeed. I'm not alone in the studio today, just like we usually will have some panelists on the desk. We have Barrister Idris Bauer. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Nigerians.
And we also have Oyikeke Igado. Thank you for joining us on X-Ray.
Thank you too.
Quite a number of things have occurred over the past 24 hours. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed disappointment that despite the various interventions by the federal government, there are still complaints and agitations by workers over unpaid salaries and allowances in states. Buhari made this position known while addressing a delegation of the Nigerian Governors Forum led by Governor Abdulaziz Yari. The various interventions the current administration had extended to the states included bailouts, Paris Club refund, and budget support. Some governors were alleged to have diverted the bailouts. The president told the governors that the plight of workers in the states needed urgent attention, as many could barely survive. Quite an interesting event. The president understands the plight of the people and has expressed it before the governors. This is one thing that a lot of Nigerians have complained about. Why do the governors always run to the federal government when they themselves are supposed to sustain themselves? Let's start with Oyikeke.
I even thought that the president by now would have screamed out by now, because for a very long time the governors have received those payments, and for months and for maybe like a year ago, the workers in the state governments have not paid the salaries of their workers. This has happened for a very long time, and I even expected that the president would talk about it even before now. But it's good that he has come out to say, look, this cannot continue, that the plight of workers in the country cannot remain the same. And he's not happy. He was asking the governors that how could you people sleep when people have not been paid for a very long time? And he's wondering, how can they feed their children? How can they provide the basic needs for their children? I said, as a matter of urgency, this has to change, that the state governors and the presidency must work together to ensure that the lives of the people are touched and things turn around. So he gave them a marching order, and I think they should take this very seriously. So the governor said, well, the bailout funds that we got, we use them properly. Okay, we use them properly. Maybe we need to take a step further to look at how much that was given to them per time. And since they said they use these monies the way they should use them, let's find out what did you use the monies for? Since despite the monies, we're still not able to pay workers' salary. So we should go a step further and find out what they did with the money. Since they said they did the money, they used the money wisely and for the purpose for which it was given.
The president couldn't have been speaking out of thin air. He obviously may have gotten information about the attitude of some of these governors, which is apparently showing in some of their communities.
In fact, by May, the president said about 243.795 billion naira as at May was given to these governors, and a lot of them still haven't paid up to their workers. So we should be asking questions. What happened to the monies?
Isn't it time the governors stood on the one hand and realized the role that they played to the states and allowed the president to focus on his own. Barrister Idris.
Well, again, good morning, Peter. I think it's sad that we are saying this all over again. Before I answer your question, these are some of the things that the Nigerian Labour Congress ordinarily should step up and ask questions about. The money that you were given, what did you do with it? But that is not happening. Instead, they are asking for more money when states cannot even pay the minimum 18,000 naira, which we agreed. Again, it has to do with the way the individual take this issue themselves. The president, I commend him for hitting out on them and telling them the plain truth that it's sad and unheard of that for 6-7 months somebody is being owed. How do you want the person to survive? How can such person pay their world school fees? How would they put food on the table and all of that? These are some of the questions that he was putting across to them. And giving them marching order, I think is the right thing to do. But again, there should be more strategic way of dealing with some of these issues. If the government at the federal level wants to assist in paying salaries of workers in states, there are better modalities that they can use. All you need to do is, we have the IPPIS, they call it now, integrated something about all staff being in a chain at federal or state level, to that even allowed, for us to identify that we have a lot of ghost workers. This was done by the last administration, and we should commend them for that. That process, if we all know now, is a click of a button. The state government, they have the workers in their payroll. All they need to do is ask the state government, can I see your payroll through the office of the state accountant general? Can I see your payroll? Get the payroll and just ask the bank credit directly to workers. The state government doesn't have anything to do again on that, because if you give them the money, it will still repeat the same self, that they won't use the money for what it is meant for. What are they actually using the money for? Have we asked ourselves the security vote which this governor use, what are they actually using the money for when you talk about security vote? How can a governor have chains of cars, 15 cars in convoy? Where are you going to? What are you doing with them? So some of this, there are a lot of wastages around local, state government that are ordinarily not to be there. So I think we should commend the president for taking this bold initiative and telling them, go and do the right thing. Again, any state that is not viable to sustain itself shouldn't be created in the first place, because states are supposed to be independent.
They're supposed to be self-sufficient.
We witnessed one time when Lagos State, for instance, I think during Tinubu era, the state was starved by the federal government, not giving them their money, and they survived. They pulled through and all of that. They were not in salaries and all of that. So now, some states are even given bailout fund for pension, for salaries of workers. These pensions not paid, the salary not paid, and the state government are telling us that they use the money judiciously. Can they tell us what they meant by that judicious use of the money? So these are questions that NLC should, be up and doing and asking the governors, what have you done with the money given to you? Not asking to pay more when the 18,000 naira, we can't even make it happen.
Isn't it, well, I think earlier on you mentioned the IPPIS. It's actually the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System.
Yeah.
That's actually what you were referring to.
Thank you. Yeah.
But again, let's remember that there's also one arm of the government that has been neglected.
Local government.
Time. The local government.
Of course.
If this is happening, and we are in a situation where the governors have access to most of these monies, which should be transmitted straight up to the local government areas, is there any hope to the grassroots?
It's difficult to say there's hope for the grassroots route to develop, because the local government area, that's what they call it, local, for the grassroots to develop. When even primary school pupils can't even have classrooms where they can study effectively. I can tell you, Peter, the secondary school I attended in Edo State, you won't believe it, that the old student association took it upon themselves to now put structures in place. We spent over 6 million naira on that project. This is an initiative from some of us. You start to ask yourself, what is happening with the local government fund? It's not there because the state government are holding forth such money, starving the local government area to effectively do what they are supposed to do.
Before the recession, Peter, the local government levels had these peculiar problems that Bawa had just said. Before the recession, what was the state of the local government areas that we have? Deplorable. So you can imagine what it is now with the present economic situation. It will be worse. The teachers cannot be paid. The other time, I keep saying the same thing about this local government administration. I believe the small monies that will trickle down to them at this time, of course the local government, the people are not asking questions. So the monies will be used by the chairman mostly, because the other time I keep saying I went to see a chairman and I was asking the chairman what his plans are for the people. And by the end of the day, when I left, he couldn't tell me anything that he's doing for the people or that he's doing at the local government level.
But most of those monies are handled by the governors, monies that are supposed to be expended by the local government chairman.
But a little still will come to them. He told me that the little that comes is just to pay salaries and all that. But are they even also paying the salaries? Right? So those are the questions. So as long as we don't monitor and we don't ask questions, I think the local government levels will be worse for it.
Isn't this quite disturbing? I mean, think about it. I was just wondering if the state governments are finding this difficult and the local governments who are mostly dependent on those state governors are nowhere to be found, then what is the fate of the Nigerian economy? Why are we even existing? I mean, think about it. We end up, the little we have, we spend on salaries.
They are not even paying the salaries.
And then the salaries are not even paid.
They are not paying the salaries. Some states are owing 6 months, 7 months of workers' salaries. Not talk about our, the pensioners whom we, are so special that we should, treat like the most special persons you can think of. One, they are old, elderly, and again they are not working. So how do they want them to survive? So when the governor says we use the money judiciously, I think it behoves on all of us to ask them, what is your term, what is your definition of judicious use, so that we know what they meant. Is it by holding parties, by erecting statues and all of that around the places, and you think you are doing somebody a favor? These are not things that, you talk about capital project. When we can't even fund salaries, how do you go about talking about development of infrastructure, building of roads, even I just spoke about schools. You go to some primary school in some of these states, it's so deplorable that you start asking yourself, how are these children learning? In fact, the teachers themselves, we heard in Kaduna recently that even teachers couldn't answer primary 4 pupils' questions. They failed the examination. So it's what you give that you get. What you don't have, you can't give. So it's a situation where we are in serious dilemma, that there's need for us to, as Nigerians, to start asking questions, asking the state governors. It's not about the federal government this time. Let us ask the state government, the money given to you, tell us the judicious word that they say we use it judiciously. How judicious is the spending? Can you give us an account of what you use the money for? I think this is the way to go.
How do you see the president addressing this issue?
Yeah, for me, I think the matching order he gave them and the fact that he told them that he wasn't happy, and even asked them, how do you go to sleep when you know that you have not paid salary for 6-7 months? I think that's a wake-up call. And if they have, if they are humane, let me use that word, if they are humane enough, that will tickle something in their head to start thinking, what have we been doing?
And I think the president should go further than just those matching orders. Can we have a mechanism where we can monitor the funds that are these funds that are being given to these governors and ensure that they're used for the purpose for which they're given? We need to.
Okay, that's where the NLC will come into play. It's not about setting up another mechanism that will know at the end of the day you are spending money to monitor and all of that. The NLC workers have been paying their dues and all of that. That is what NLC should be doing at the moment, holding these people accountable. Let us know what we have used this money for. It's not for the federal government to set up another mechanism that we know it will mean spending more money that we don't have.
Some states have become quite consistent in these issues. One of such states is Kogi State.
It's not only Kogi. We have Benue, we have Ekiti, we have
Kwara is one of them. Benue is one of them.
So virtually almost all the states.
Well, if you say virtually all, it doesn't appear so. But we know also Gombe.
Well, we can count 5. Well, we can count 5. What again are we talking about? We have 36 states. Do you know the number of persons that are affected when we talk about this salary?
Some do not even pay the gratuities as well. Edo is one of such. Edo State is owing about 5 to 10 months. Obviously, from the.
It's the same thing with Benue.
Wow.
So you can say that it's not.
Ebonyi is owing 7 billion naira. Niger State, it's the pension headache that lingers in that state. Nasarawa State says it's according to NLC, it's 1 month. Ondo State workers are still owed 5 months. Oshun.
So, Peter, can you tell me which state is remaining again? You have counted how many now? So you can see what I'm saying.
Adama is yet to comply. Workers in Ogun State are disagreeing with the figures that have been given by the government. So quite complicated issues. Not all of them are exactly all about the salaries exactly, you know.
It's not about salary alone. Even the amount that is involved is debatable. And again, pensioners are owed for as much as 10 months, some 6 months. So it's really sad.
We'll take a very quick break on X-ray. When we come back, we'll take a look at another topic, quite a disturbing one. Do you know where your kidneys are? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome, my dear friends.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. Give me 101.1 effort.
At Human Rights Radio, we pride ourselves in being sensitive to all your business needs. That is why we go further to bring you, our clients, closer to us. Human Rights Radio is proud to announce that our advert cards are ready for both wholesale and retail marketers. As an added bonus, we are offering a 20% discount to all wholesale buyers of our advert cards. Hurry now to Human Rights Radio, located at plot 1184, Kaura District, besides Games Village, FCT Abuja, and take advantage of this unique business opportunity. Human Rights Radio, redefining broadcasting. As a business owner, you may be asking yourself for reasons why you should advertise with Human Rights Radio. Well, I will give you 5. 1. We operate a 24-hour Facebook TV that accommodates all our shows, and with 50,000 views per show. 2. All around the world, millions of people tune into our station live on our Human Rights Radio app, available on Android and iOS. 3. We are employing over 2,000 conversers ready to attend to all your advertising needs. 4. With our very affordable rates, you are guaranteed the best value for your money. 5. We go beyond radio and can be found on all other social media platforms. platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Periscope, proving that while other stations enjoy listenership, we enjoy followership. The question shouldn't be reasons why you should advertise with Human Rights Radio. The real question is reasons why you haven't. Welcome to Nigeria's first magazine radio, Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Welcome back to X-Ray, and thank you for being patient. We just took a break. We're back. Now we'll take a look at another development away from issues regarding salaries and the president getting angry with Nigerian governors about the inability of most of them to fulfill their promise to the people and the workers in their various states after having received some sort of bailouts and government interventions, if you like. Is it Sovereign Wealth Fund or what? Name all of them. The Paris refund. Sovereign Wealth Fund was in the last government, right? Yeah. So let's take a look at something quite interesting. I'm sure many of you have seen this on social media, but we waited to have an authoritative source before bringing up this issue to you. Foreign hospitals stealing kidneys. Federal government has warned, and the Federal Ministry of Health has said Nigerians who usually travel outside the country for medical attention should be very careful to the rising cases of illegal organ harvesting by some hospitals. The warning was contained in a letter written by the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, and signed by the Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Wapada Balani. In the letter, which was addressed to the President of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, the minister said Egypt had recently arraigned 41 suspects for illegal organ harvesting. Adewale also urged the Nigerian Medical Association president to ensure that people are informed of the dangers of undergoing surgeries abroad. Is this to mean that the enemy is responsible for media? I mean, are we taking this information source the right way? I understand maybe the minister's intention is to advise doctors who usually refer some of these people to these countries to try to avert it. But the question again is, are we taking a right step? Let's not even go into medical tourism. Are we taking the right step in informing the people as we speak?
Well, if you ask me, one way is before you go for any medical treatment abroad, the doctor will have to give a referral, and that is where to start the sensitization from, that this is happening and they should know how to deal with that. I think from that angle, yes, it's fair. But again, we have other media outlet that the government can use. The National Orientation Agency, for instance, that is their aim, and they should be in the forefront to sensitize Nigerians. The need not to embark on all of this, and if you must go, you know how to go about it. You know, this case has been on for a very long time. I think in one of our program here, Bracket Family, there was a case of one Nigerian who complained of having severe headache in Italy, and she went to the hospital. The next thing, they removed her kidney, and as we speak, from that time till now, she's still lying, paralyzed. And these are some of the side effects. While we were discussing all of this, you see the side effect of having a kidney removed. But the sad thing is not just about stealing. People now go out to sell their kidneys for as much as $1,500.
As little as is that?
When you say
that's quite a little amount.
No, when I say as much as, is you can't even place value for any part of human life in the first place. For people to now stand up, sell their kidney for that amount is sad. And this is not just happening to Nigerians only. It's something that is worrisome in the whole world, in Asia countries and all of that. So the federal government coming up with this and advising doctors to take the right step, I think is one way to go. But again, let's not forget, before you say you are traveling out of the country, you have reasons for doing so. And some of the reasons are because you don't have the right equipment down here. So advising us is one thing, but let's put our house in order. Once we do that, there's no need for somebody to travel out in the first place. So if we have good hospitals that we can manage very well, you know, that is something that can be done easily. We have hospitals here in Nigeria that we're supposed to be well equipped, but unfortunately the equipment they brought are obsolete. You can't even use them. And even the medical personnel that we think are supposed to use this equipment, they've not been trained on how to use them. And some of the equipments they've brought in the hospitals, and they are useless. So we have a lot to talk about when it comes to issues like this. We put our house in order. Once that is done, there's no need for medical tourism.
Okay.
I'm happy the federal government is coming out to say this, and I think this should be a wake-up call to the Nigerian government that our medical facilities must be taken care of, must be updated. People ordinarily may want to stay home and take their treatment. But just like Bauer said, if you don't have the facilities, especially when there are serious and chronic issues, you hear cases of people being referred to India for transplant, being referred to here and there. Truth is, if we have the necessary health facilities and trained medical staff, it will reduce the risk that we're taking going out. And Nigerians too, on their side, especially those who have the monies to afford medical bills outside, they need to be enlightened. There's some of these cases that they travel for, but ordinarily they could also travel, take care of it at home. So that we should be mindful of how we run abroad for treatment. The world is becoming something else. A lot of things come out now that you don't imagine could come out. So we need to sensitize ourselves and say, look, let's limit. If we can manage here, it's still okay. But if you cannot, fine. But if you're going there, your eyes has to be opened, your ears opened, and be sure. You can imagine the story about the lady that went to Italy. She had headaches. There wasn't any reason for any kind of surgery. Not to talk of those who will go and say, okay, we have abdominal pains. They may just give you a wrong diagnosis, put you on the couch, and then open up. And so we need to be very careful as a people. And the government, I think this is where we should start from. We should put our house in order. Our medical facilities at all levels must be upgraded so that our people can access the right and quality care that they need, as far as it has to do especially with their health.
Yeah, Peter, just to add a little. You see, when we talk about our medical facilities, I think the first thing first, we have medical doctors. And 99%, or let me say even 100% of our hospitals, the heads who manages them are medical doctors. And these are not trained managers, if you ask me. So as a doctor, I don't know how you can start.
100% would rather be too much to
tell
authorize.
me any government hospital that is not headed or managed by a medical doctor.
Well, but some of them are trained. Some I know are trained.
Managers?
Yes.
Managers.
They go into a lot of managerial courses.
You see, going for courses and having that training from the very beginning, like somebody who studied management, for instance, can you equate that with somebody who is who just did the certificate?
So what's your point exactly?
My point is, our medical hospitals should be managed by professionals who are managers, not professionals who are doctors. That is how to start. Then we need to deal with the issue of corruption. Corruption has taken a huge on us, and I say it. I don't envy Mr. President, because the way corruption has eaten deep into this country, I can't imagine how we can fight it. We have to, that change has to begin with me syndrome, has to be sunk into our heads. From primary school, this generation, the generation of below 50 down, I'm telling you, they'll be worse off if things are not managed very well. because the drive for me, I want to make it at all costs by every means possible. It's what led people to selling their kidneys, their body parts, and all of that, because they want to make money. I want to show that I have arrived. It's a sad situation, and I don't know how we can deal with this. Like I keep hammering, family unit, we need to go back to the drawing board. Morals from churches, from mosque, we need to drum morals into our head and see how we can, take ourselves out of this
so let's take a look at the illegal aspect of the organ harvesting as contained in the letter by the Federal Ministry of Health. It means clearly that the patient is not consenting, or is probably not aware, because it says illegal organ harvesting by some hospitals, and that letter also listed some 4 or so hospitals that were named, as a matter of fact.
The case I refer to, I think her name is Juliana, I can't remember the name. It was something illegal. That is why even to do an operation in all the hospitals, they would need a signature, somebody to sign. And the reason why they are opening you must be well stated. So, like all of these instances, they will be told, some of them are not even told. You just go there, they give you injection, you sleep up, before you know it from the back, they just open the person up, remove the kidney and other vital organs and stitch the person back. The case in question, the lady, there was nothing they didn't do. Only God preserved her for her to be able to speak out of what she's been going through. Other than that, a lot of people have known what happened to her, and nobody will even know the processes, how they go about doing this illegal business. When we even talk about, there are some who will walk into the hospital themselves and request that they want to sell their body parts. But I can't imagine how that can be placed to be legal, because you are 18 and you want to sell your body, something you didn't create. Law and morality, any law that doesn't take into cognizance some moral aspect, for me, it's not a good law. That's how I see it. You have to look at morality. Like, for instance, somebody who steals billions of naira, you are imprisoning the person for 6 months. The person spending time in the hospital, you say the law provided for that. Then somebody who stole a goat, you are sending the same person to 7 years imprisonment, and you say the law provided. Is that? As
much as I don't want us to go into that argument, I mean, think about it. You lawyers say ignorance is not an excuse. Is that moral? No. Discuss later.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we'll take a look at more developments, this time from the side of you, the listener. Call us up on 081 89 99 1011. Call us up right now and be part of the discussion on the Human Rights Radio. It's X-Ray. Hello. Good morning.
Line in mode.
Good morning.
Good morning, Human Rights Radio.
You're welcome to X-Ray.
This is Abubakar calling from Jagala. How are you?
Hey, Abubakar! This is a very good friend of mine. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you. Good morning, yes.
Good morning, Abubakar.
One of the things we are facing in this country is that most of our leaders have no genuine concerns for the welfare of the Nigerian citizens. We keep having annual mega budget, but poverty is widespread. Per capita income is low. Personal income of people are low. So we have many things to contest. Now the governors are going for bailout. For what? No human development. People, welfare is at low. There is hardship in the land, suffering. We don't know where this national wealth goes to. They share it as the normal practice as before. And coming to the issue of the organ harvest, it needs a serious prayer because evil has crept into medical cycles. The medical feed is a feed that is for to serve humankind, but is seen as a now some element within the medical cycle as go into racketeering. They are harvesting human organ, and it is a pity. And most of Nigeria, I don't want to mention the country, but it's well known to all Nigeria. The country that most Nigeria present for their medical tourism in the Asia.
Hello? Uh-oh. We had a network issue, unfortunately. I was waiting to hear that part of Asia that he wanted to mention. But please feel free to call us up and be part of the discussion. 081 89 99 1011. Unfortunately, we lost the call from Abubakar. But quite frankly, this is quite disturbing. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to X-Ray.
Thank you. This is Abubakar calling from Hawaii.
Okay, another Abubakar. Please go ahead.
Yes, another Abubakar. Yeah, actually, my contribution concerning the kidney harvest, I think it's a very sad thing that is happening to Nigerians. And probably we just like to blow it a little out of proportion when it comes to a foreign listing. Because the last time I remember this thing has happened here in Nigeria before. I read in the newspaper sometimes back where somebody in Bauchi went to the hospital, was ill and was operated upon, and his 2 kidneys were removed. In fact, the patient didn't even realize until he became very sick. And then the investigation led to the hospital where his kidneys were removed. So this thing has been happening here. And like the barrister said, a lot of these things, we don't have good managers. We probably have doctors and some professionals at the helm of affairs, that we don't have people that are actually trained to manage this thing. Because even look at the information that is even coming from the Ministry of Health. The information is addressed to the NMA, that's the Nigerian Medical Association. I don't know, is it that the doctors that are at risk of kidney harvest, or is the general public? Because I think if we had good information managers, the information should be to the general public, not to an association of doctors. So I think there's a lot of work we need to do in orientating the whole system, especially when it comes to our healthcare system. We need to take a more holistic view of it and probably put the right people at the right place. Not necessarily just because of qualification, but because of actually ability to do the work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling us on the program. Very well said. I think he's trying to re-emphasize the first issue that we raised on whether that should have been the first channel to be considered. Hello?
Hello, good morning, the expert.
Good morning and welcome.
My name is Ifeanyi from Buhari.
Ifeanyi, it's good to have you on X-Ray once again.
Thank you, sir. I want to talk on the issue of organ harvest.
Okay.
This thing is playing in 2 perspectives now. One is intentional sale of organ, and the other one is the one they harvest without the consent of the patient. I want to suggest that the SAP should arrange for a specialist who will use our platform either on the family or the SAP itself to enlighten the public on the modus operandi of this hospital involved and the implementation of these practices, so that Nigerians who have discussed for affluence and the wealth, who go about doing all sorts of things for money, including selling of their body parts, we know the implementation and what they stand to lose at the end of this practice. And then those who will go for hospital outside here, I know it happens here as well, but it is more rampant outside this country. If you go there, we know how to work out so that we don't just get involved in things that we will not at the end of the day. I really want to commend the federal government for taking this bold step to change the way that our hospitals have not been equipped so much that they are aware that people deny our foreign country for medical attention. By giving us awareness that such hospitals are involved in organ hazard. I thank you very much for the work you people are doing.
And thank you so much. Ifeanyi is a very constant caller on this platform. Let's have reactions from you. Okay, we have another call. Hello, please put on your radio set.
Good morning.
Good morning. Put up your radio set, please.
I've done that.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning to our guest here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, one well on the topic of God's blessing.
Amen.
You see, this issue of the first issue about our hospitals. It all boils down to Nigerians. You understand? Generally, our attitude has to be changed. If you are talking of government, you understand? Government employ individuals in which we are all the same Nigerians. So if you are not having that feeling on us, then it means the ball is on our court. Now, change our attitude from the top down to the down there. Including the Nigerians that are attending the hospitals too. If you see okay, report to the normal channel. I really pray most often for human rights radio station. You people are trying. May God Almighty bless all of you there.
Amen.
You should be on our foot. Then let the other journalists be on their foot. Do the right journalism, I say, do the investigative journalism. Tell us the right thing, what is happening. Let us all in Nigeria, let us chip in and see how we are going to resolve it. Bring solution to the people and solve it. Because the Nigeria it belongs to us. All. If it is good today, it is for all. It is for all. We're enjoying it. Then our fathers, look at how they operate this country. And when we came on board, look at what we met on ground. If they operate this country, they feel in their honesty on this country is not measurable. So we should please change our attitude. Please, that is my call to all Nigerians. Then, when we are talking about the Labour Congress, that is what we are saying. You know, sometimes the Labour Congress, they came out and called on to Nigeria, we should come and protest this and that. We refuse. This is it. Because when there is right for them to come out and do the right thing, they will not do it. This is the when General, our Vice President, he gave the bailout to the governors. They were aware because they published all these things. It was all open. Then what the next thing I expected from our labor leaders or the laborers is that to follow all these things, follow it up to the fullest. Then give me please. They should not just be there and try to politicize something, then try to select what they tell Nigerians. We should come and protest. Do the right thing. We are watching. We are listening. We know the right thing. When you do it, we know. Those who are trying to help Nigeria, those who are trying to put Nigeria in the good shape, we all know. We are all listening. Please, they should do the right thing. God bless Human Rights Radio. God bless Nigeria. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
And God bless you too. Vice Idris?
Yeah, I think for me is I want to commend the federal government for initiative, particularly the president for what he has done in respect to this bailout fund. That is one, and the Ministry of Health for taking that initiative. I think they need to do more in the sense that they need to sensitize the public. And there's nothing wrong if we do a health summit kind of. that health summit should address specific issues surrounding all of this, and people should be informed of the need not to go out and sell their organs. The importance of all of these organs need to be, the side effect particularly, when you think you are making money out of it, that money will not be able to take care of your health when the chips are down. So I think there is need for sensitization.
Okay. Please put off your radio set.
Yes, Peter, good morning.
You're welcome to X-Ray.
Yes, my name is Mike James, advocate.
Mike, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, the issue of this organ harvest, or either they have been done, people are offering them to be sold, or doctors are doing them without their consent. To me, it all boils down to the same thing. The basic amenities that are not being provided. This poverty we're talking about Nigeria, if we go by what we earn as a country, we're supposed to at least live more comfortably than what we have, what is on ground right now. But our leaders, although even we ourselves, the citizens, all of us have a share in this blame, because it is stated in various quarters that leadership is the reflection of the society. If we stand our feet on the ground and say this is what we want, like what we are supposed to do in some quarter, this platform we're trying to put in place called Office of the Citizen, let us look at what is going to benefit the generality of Nigerians, not a selfish interest or what is going to benefit me as a person in the immediate. If we can look at what is going to benefit Nigerians, the greater majority of Nigerians at all times, these are the kind of things we should talk for. But when we talk about things that will benefit us as individuals or our selfish interests, it doesn't take us anywhere. Particularly the issue of health. Me, I want to put it back at the doorstep of Mr. President. It's a statement that I made to him when he was president-elect. They're talking about he doesn't see the reason why we should go for medical tourism or sending our children to school abroad, or why we should not talking about Nigerian Airways and all of those things. What has it done? It's over 2 years since his administration. What has it done? Particularly the issue of health. That in fact, he's been the number one person in leading the trend of going for medical tourism abroad. What does it take for us to put our hospitals and health facilities on ground here? But particularly the one that is even very easy for him to do when he talks about our Nigerian Airways, because he made mention of that investment, he made mention of him converting all the aircraft in the presidential airfleet to take it to start the Nigerian Airways. What does it take to do that one? We are tired of all this talking. What does it things on ground? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, the Change Advocate, for your contribution on X-Ray this morning. Quite a number of issues being raised here. Let's take this one last call. Hello?
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello? Yeah, good morning, Peter. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm doing a nice job.
Thank you.
But I tell you, the country is not doing a nice job. See, when you are talking
tell us your name first. Tell us your name and where you're coming.
My name is KGB.
All right.
Yeah, see, if you are talking of federal government alerting us about the harvesting of, whatever organ outside, I'm telling you, well, it's good they tell us, even though we are much aware of it. But the federal government are the great harvester of organ. They are harvesting even greater than the one you can talk outside. How? See, look at Mr. President. Is it taking the governors? Almighty God. We have the IGR is there. The federal allocation is there. They said that they gave bailout form. Then the so-called governor pocketed it, including the local government own allocation. They pocketed it and they can't pay anything. And it's as if the president is as if he's begging them. What you could have done is there no law anymore? Grab the person, where is the money given to you? To use the logo of if they know what they are doing, grab them, and the person will tell us where is money. Because why I said that they are the great harvest of the organ is that I'm telling you, that there is a person that will tell you, please, instead of me to die, to stay and watch and die, hungry, kill me, I think the best thing is for me to go and harvest whatever is in me to do what? To eat and live. Well, that's all man must do what? Man must die one day. So, and with that governor, you can't pay salary, nothing is moving. Is that not a harvesting of program? That is there. That when you are talking of what is the salary, see, all these governors you are seeing, at I believe the president is seeing now. That you don't need to come and allowing government to take one year. If you are giving money to bank, this, you will pocket it and you know, flaunting cars, you know, this showing so that, you know, it's just like a contract that has no law. So what I'm trying to say that is that the president supposed to come out and do the needful, then he will not want to do it because he cannot do it alone on opposition party. In this time now, he will not do it alone in opposition party because not only opposition that is doing.
Okay.
The ruling party is away.
Right.
He helped the needful by doing what? Enforcing using the law to make this one pay. Forget about the NLC. NLC, all of them are being of his job.
Okay, because of time, we will have to let you go now, KGB. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. What an interesting name, KGB. Wow, the first time I'm hearing someone bear that name. But final comments from our analysts in the building. Let's start with OKK.
I expect us as a nation, as a government, to move further than just this later. The federal government should ensure that they continue to sensitize the people, and then apart from that, we should go a step further, ensure that our health facilities are upped. We up our games in terms of provision of health facilities. And apart from the facilities, we need to encourage training, specialization of our medical doctors. How many specialized doctors do we have in the country? We need to begin to encourage that people branch out and specialize so that they will be able to handle some of these issues that send people abroad on medical tourism a lot of times.
Barrister Idris.
Yeah, for me, I think it's high time we started thinking of how to take the necessary step to make our system workable. Because what we have at the moment, things are not really working fine. So there's need for us to put our hands on deck and ensure that everyone is carried along.
Some of the most important organs in your body, and of course, without salaries, if you had to fall victim, it will be a greater damage. So let's get our governors to work and pay their salaries to workers and give their promises to the people as well. And let's protect ourselves. When we travel out on medical tourism, let us be careful, please. Do have a great time. Tomorrow on X-Ray, we'll take a look at other trending and topical issues making the rounds across Nigeria and beyond. Have a lovely day ahead. Zoreng M. Majalusu, the NCIASA, will come up at 11 o'clock. Do have a lovely time. I'm Peter Kundum.
Welcome.